Very good morning to all the participants, dear students, all my dear colleagues. So, on behalf of Trinity Academy of Engineering, Pune, I would like to welcome Mr. Umesh Samant Sir, Chief Operating Officer, Pipeline Innovations Private Limited. I request Dr. Nilesh Uke Sir, Principal of Trinity Academy of Engineering, Pune, to please felicitate Mr. Umesh Samant Sir. Now, today's session will be delivered by Mr. Umesh Samant sir on significance of National Education Policy 2020 and Industry Institute linkage. Mr. Umesh Samant sir is having 24 years of experience with diverse roles. He is also having global work experience across US, China, UK, Germany, and UK tech centers. He is highly skilled in benchmarking, establishing, and managing global technical centers of 200 plus headcount with fully functional labs and product development capabilities. Now I request Umesh sir to start the session.
Good morning, everyone. So this is gonna be a more of a freelance speech from my side, and I see this opportunity to definitely talk about the education policy, my experiences, my life lessons. So I see it's a mixed audience. Like we have professors, we have students also. So that's great. So I'll freelance. It's not gonna be very structured presentation. Neither it's a beautiful presentation. I'll tell certain stories about me because just to make, not to tell me who I am, to tell you guys who I am, but to make a relevance about my experience and how we can correlate with respect to what we see from recruits in the industry. My own experiences, the 500 odd engineers I've recruited and trained in my 25 years life career, and what are the gaps and how we can improve. So it's all linked stories. So it's going to be a storytelling than that of a structured presentation. Right, so I put still my company's logo, and I'm not here to advertise that. Right, it's just a relevance. I'll also say this is going to be a content. I'll do an introduction and forward. Indian National Education Policy 2020. I did get a chance to look at it, and I was pretty impressed. Pretty impressed the way it's been holistically approached, and I think that's a first step. If it is going to take its own time to implement, there would be nuances and hurdles. And Nilesh sir and I was talking. It's a beautiful policy. How it gets implemented is important for us. But I think it's a first good step. Industry Education Institute linkage, where we see what we need from engineers. I mean, I'm going to be a little biased here because I'm an engineer coming from manufacturing industry or technology industry, so I'll probably repeat engineers, but that's not true. It's true in everything actually, right? But my references will be to engineering. And a few word of advice, which I'll call my life learning or lesson. Again, I'm just showing you pictures over here. There's nothing to read out of this slide. Don't worry about it. It's pretty crowded. The reason I still wanted to put it in front of you is letting you know certain values, right? Certain passion. So I'll start a little bit with my experience. What I come with, I have been introduced with this one. So I'm actually my cornerstone, if I call. I'm a mechanical engineer, passed out in 1995. So I'm a pretty old guy, right? Compared to what you are learning, the advances of the courses and other stuff, we're not that privileged. I believe we didn't see in Excel at that point of time. Internet was not known as a concept, right? So that's an era I come from. Being a mechanical engineer, but computers were there, programming was there, so we used to take classes, C, just for a hobby. I never turned into that. I never did a coding. And I've been a true-blooded or thorough mechanical engineer all along because my career provided me those opportunities, right? So this is a story of not so qualified people. I joined them around 2 years back. I mentored them for a year as a freelancing without taking any money. Then I consulted them for 6 months and then invested and joined them as a chief operating officer. The story about what they do, I'll show you a slide about the product, but it's a learning about if you believe in something, a bigger cause, I want to make an impact to an environment, sustainability, or better tomorrow for our kids, right? That drives you. So my founders or my partners were not technically capable in this technology, even they don't understand today. To be honest, to be brutally honest, I'm a mechanical engineer and I'm working in a high energy field, which is not my domain. I'm not taught that, right? But there are a few learnings that come out of it. Is that if you have a good passion, you have some big aim, right? You want to make an impact as an individual, right? You have patience, which is a big word, and determination to get to the root of the problem solving, right? You can succeed. I'll not talk about this. So we make retrofit emission control devices, which does a particulate matter out of an EV process exhaust, even ambient air cleaning. Again, it's not an advertisement. So I'll skip the slide. Let's come back to our topic. If you look at the National Education Policy 2020, this is the top paragraph is topic restrict from there. Okay. I'll read that. The purpose of the education system is to develop good human beings capable of rational thought and action, processing compassion and empathy, possessing compassion and empathy, courage and resilience, scientific temper, and a creative imagination with sound ethical knowing and values. This is a light crux. This when I read through that, I loved it so much. It's been very thoughtfully written. And if you ask me, maybe my English is not that good the way it has been written. I would have attempted something like this if somebody wants to ask me, what your life learning is and what an engineer or any individual should be. Sorry, I'll by default give an engineering background and examples, but what it should be. And believe me or not, this is not theoretical, right? I have lived through experiences. Let it be values, ethics, as well as never say die attitude. Sometimes I call it as a fire in a belly. Okay, everything pays back. You just need to have a sustenance and patience to pay back. Okay, so I'm really glad the policy is very comprehensive. I was glad to see that it refers back to our culture, our heritage as an India, ancient India. Referring to Takshashilas, Nalandas, universities, and all this stuff. So we have been there. We have been probably one of the best, culture at that point of time. There's such a good heritage and all. I'm not going to the facts whether we are sustaining that, relearning from it or not. That blends our culture, our heritage, what our glorious past has been, as well as the proven education systems worldwide. And I can give you a little reference about it because I have spent few years in the US. So my son was going to the primary school. He is doing his bachelor's in Texas, right? I prefer to go there. No offense, I mean, our education system is equally good, but the flexibility this policy, right? Flexibility it offers is enormous. And that is a single reason for why you should spend and well earned money and probably given foreign exchange to the different countries. So it's doing mechanical engineering with computer science as a minor and aerospace as a certificate, right? As of today, probably our education system doesn't offer that kind of a flexibility. He's also doing teaching assistantship. He's a fourth semester student of undergrad. He's doing teaching assistantship as well as he's been offered RM officially. This is assistantship working on a hypersonic window. Now, I couldn't imagine that to be done here. So I'm not criticizing anything. I'm not justifying me sending my son to abroad either. But I would like every one of you, every student in India to have those kind of an opportunities. And I believe this is a first step towards that. It allows you flexibility to choose your electives, right? The education system will be probably reformed towards not just the formulas and the papers or your question papers and answers, but hands-on stuff, right? Collaborative stuff, doing mini projects, lots of things like this. But I see this because of my some exposure towards the foreign education system. This policy is one of the best, right? Which not only leverages what's been successful across in Europe and US, it also looks back into holistic approaches of looking back into our culture. something that our heritage says, something that has a value. I think that combination will be lethal and really useful. I'm not an expert about the education system, so what it takes to implement and when it will be implemented, cannot answer on that or cannot comment on that. But I believe it's a first right step towards it. And the way our government is progressive, again, no political comments here. The way that things are getting implemented, speed of it. And by the way, I do work with Delhi also, with a different sector. Um, don't want to get into that, right? So that there is always public policy, regulations, and all the stuff. So I've been recognized by Central Pollution Control Board and other few as an industry expert. So I do work with them, and I can definitely promise you that things are far better than they used to be historically. So I wish this will get implemented really, really rapidly and effectively. Right, again, my intent is not here to summarize or read into the whole policy, but these are, I think, few salient points I came across while reading through. Right, one is the experiential hands-on learning. So lots of projects, lots of industry application, that could be a possibility. Right, that's one part. And that I believe it's very important because I'm going to show you some slides. As I said, like it's a storytelling, right? What did I expect from people which are hired and what I didn't get? Okay, and how it relates to the policy. So it's kind of interlinked. There is art integration, sport integration, which we'll also see that to an extent. I think we do believe we do have that. Uh, but the art part of it, and I see that we have Indian Institute of Design, sorry, National Institute of Design, and other stuff, and the good amount of talent going there also. The product designs, textile design, could be event management, and not kind of there is such a diversity, and this kind of brilliant brains they're gifted, right? And definitely integrates. Me being an engineer, I can't be saying that this is all about the products, right? Manufacturing and products. No, there is an art because it's end of the day we're human being, right? We are the consumers of any product. Let it be automotive, let it be tablecloth or a cloth, right? This part is important, and I think that getting enough emphasis in this policy has been rightly done. Holistic development, as I talked about the aspects of our heritage, has been referred back multiple times into this policy. Holistic learning is not just looking back into your background or what I can say past. However, it is all learning about classroom learning, experiences in actual world, projects you would do. Maybe you can do the paper publications and other things, the wide aspect of it. I'm not saying that it's not present today, but making this as a part of compulsory part of a curriculum would make a lot change because probably today it's an optional, being better than XYZ kind of a thing. Right? Course flexibility, innovation, and leadership. I think these are the very, very key points. I think we missed, at least at my era, I missed. I don't know how much it is improved right now, but probably there would be concerns too. So innovation and leadership are very big words when you go in industry as a student, I would say, right? Uh, sometimes we think that so many things have been innovated already. What's left for me? Right? Don't think that way. Don't think that way. There are lots of applications, or even application of fundamentals into something useful becomes an innovation, right? It doesn't have to be fundamental nuclear physics or quantum physics kind of a work all the time. So be creative, be innovative. Do not be afraid of trying few things. There is no silly idea, right? You may not have something that's workable, something else will work, right? So that's a input to the students, right? Again, towards the professor and teacher community or fraternity, encouraging the students to think differently, out of box, and do something that is not a very traditional or challenges status quo. That's the important thing you should invite because you are actually molding them. You are molding them for their life, right? These are the resources for our country in the future, right? Again, choices of contemporary subject integration, right? We talk about data science, AI, ML, right? So can we afford to have everybody doing the same thing? No, there is a launch scope. right? And these features or tools or artificial intelligence can be embedded into everything. Your Alexa, Google, your car, your machine that's been turning for CNC machine, let it be anything else. So these are like an enablers, right? Don't take it as that's the only thing I will do, right? So integrating these aspects is important. I'll tell you a little bit of my story. I do actually, so I'm a mechanical engineer, I'm not an electronics engineer, neither did coding at all. But I do hardware architecting. I do software block architecting for my own components or whatever. I did it for after deployment system, I did it for my product also. I definitely can hire somebody who understands electronics and chips better than me, get the circuit board done by them, but the architecting blocks and what I need, what isolations I need, what processing I need, what's the baud rate, right? Definitely you can do that. So, again, as I say, like leadership part, which you talk about, is leadership not about knowing everything. Leadership is the most smarter way to, utilize the best resources available. In certain fields, they're better than you. But integrating them and getting them to success and a product or whatever your final objective is to the success is important. Again, last portion we talked about knowing India and our heritage, including legacy knowledge. I think that's something that is left to explore a lot. I sometimes, hear stories about miraculous things in Ayurveda, right? People who have been people who have been diagnosed with a stage 3 cancer and allopathy or doctors say, 3 months, right? I have seen these examples where people have fully recovered out of that. At that stage, where they're supposed to be, you have an experienced speaker attached. Right? Why this knowledge doesn't percolate across, right? Are we missing something in it? Right? There is a lot depth and lot knowledge even in our Upanishad and so I'm not expert in that either, neither I have read them. But the old books or whatever knowledge database we have has a lot of life learning in that. Right? Are we exploring that? Anyway, it's a big and deeper subject. We're not going to that. Right. So this is towards the student as well as teacher both. What I think in a bold way, where the globe or global requirements would be tomorrow, today and tomorrow. Number one, everybody needs to have a food, a healthy food. Agricultural field is an extremely important field. Believe me or not, if you have studied the world economy and a sufficiency of the grains or food by every country, the picture is great, right? So I'll tell you one funny thing. Yesterday, my sister-in-law, she stays in Texas, called her. She says, I haven't eaten chapati for last 2 months. I said, are you on a diet? She said, no. There is no wheat flour available. United States of America. Why? Right? We take everything casually because we don't think about it. These things are very serious. Which we will not. Okay? It doesn't matter how much money you have. Okay? The grain has to be grown for you to consume. Right? And that's the reason our forefathers used to say, if you are consuming something, मराठी बोलते ताटामध्ये ठेवू नको काही आहे जेवढं दिलं तेवढं खा. So don't waste the food because somebody is growing that for you and somebody would have eaten if you are not. Okay, so these are fundamental things, but very important actually. Smart farming, how you can make it, hydroponics and other stuff, how you can utilize the knowledge. And believe me or not, your stream or a branch, whether you're a civil engineer, agricultural engineer, mechanical or electronics or IT, whatever, right? Doesn't matter. Every field has an implication to even a farm. Okay. Use your AI, IoT or whatnot, right? There are lots of enablers like a cell network, cell phone, these are enablers. It can do miracles for you. Make apps. And there is no dearth of, your creativity or what you can think about the applications. So provoke students to think about it, figure out the problem, solve them. Obviously, the intelligent manufacturing we call industry 4.0 and all this stuff, right? So this will get our efficiency in manufacturing better, more accurate, right? And first in time, lower wastage. First time right and lower wastage. Environmental sustainability, it has actually become a big thing. So my business in that domain basically, right? I used to say funnily 25 years it is that diesel engines. Although it sustained or it helped the mobility, it helped the people, helped the community, but it created a pollution. So my second phase of business or what I got, I'm probably not chosen by me, but this is how it happened. Is an after treatment solution, right? Reduce NOx, HC, CO, and particulate matter. So make your mobility clean. Third part of my career was making regulations, how stringent the regulations for the automotive and non-automotive engines can be. So diesel engine was my domain, obviously, right? So it's kind of seems like a full circle, and I didn't choose it; it happened with my career. Okay, so then this is something probably drove me, saying that if fine, you've done a professional career for long, 25 years of it, go and do something better, man. You know how we can make an impact to the environment. So environmental sustainability is very, very big buzzword, carbon neutrality and other aspects of it, right? So this is where you will see a lot of opportunities. So innovation never ends, right? Opportunities never end. It is a continuous process, and I do believe there are more opportunities in innovation and creativity that is required today than it was in a decade back. Right? It's a very fast changing world now, and it will keep accelerating. Clean mobility, we want no pollution, electric cars, hydrogen fuel cars, or whatever it is, right? Clean mobility is important. Sustainable energy solutions, the wind, solar, and whatnot, right? We have to move away from coal, maybe nuclear is another option, and all the stuff. Energy is never ending demand. Basically, you will need electricity all along. So energy solutions, right? Very important, right? So these are just I'm putting you as thinkers over here where you can think about, where you can apply your skill sets and knowledge, right? The world is wide enough for you to accommodate your idea and everything. Okay, lifestyle needs and innovations. You have, you know, smartphones, probably born somewhere in 2007, 2008, if I'm not wrong, right? That was somewhere it started, you know, what I can say, proliferating, right? I think my first phone I bought, which was smartphone, probably was, not sure, yeah, Android phone was a Motorola Droid, right? 2018 US, right? But then just imagine, did it help you? It certainly did. There are lots of communication it enabled, apps it enabled. Now, government has done such a good thing in India that most of your things are online available now. You don't have to go anywhere, and it's secure. It is foolproof to an extent, right? So this kind of an enablers would definitely help us out, right? I mean, when I talked about his lifestyle needs and innovations in that, yeah, I don't think we ever knew that I needed an iPhone or on any Android device because that was never need we imagined. But once the enablers came in, we started utilizing it. So there could be more and more coming like that. It's not going to end here. And the healthcare, obviously. So food and health. These are the founding fundamentals about it. So this is where your scope is. I'm not going into nitty-gritties of the engineering streams and other stuff, but this is where global needs will stay anchored to for the future. And then these are enablers, right? What are your answers? AI, ML, data science, and all this stuff. These are the tools, these are enablers which will make everything right. Now I'll switch gear about my experiences as well as what an industry will need from somebody coming out of the college. Okay, and we always say that we always design a product for the end objective, right? So teachers should think about that only. The same way. What's your product? Your product is, as per the caption and the paragraph I talked about, enabled engineers, right? So if you target that, that's your aim, right? Then of course there is always a standard distribution, so not every kid would be the same, but leave that distribution apart. But as an aim, generally, you should do that, right? We expect a practical or hands-on experience, even in the low-level skills, okay? And I think we believe that we teach everything in the bookish knowledge already. What a transistor does, what a AC synchronous motor does, and all this stuff. All these things are imparted already, right? Even for mechanical engineering, right? So there is nothing rocket science about it. So we have to change something. Why don't we come up with the basic fundamental knowledge? Because see, your resources available over even on internet are enormous. You want to learn on your own, right? So there is no stopping you. Probably at our age, my age, when I graduated, there wasn't a Google. You had to go to a library and find a book or a professor. Okay. So little bit of a practical or hands-on experience. You should not come with a completely theoretical stuff. I did my exam. I scored well, but if I ask somebody in the interview, have you ridden, did you ever ride bicycle? People obviously 90% people will said, yes, I can ride bicycle. So if I ask them to explain, say that, hey, can you explain me freewheeling mechanism your bike had, bicycle had? 90% kids can't answer that. What's inside? I don't expect them to have seen an open day, but somewhere your curiosity should ask what's there. That's important. The why and how. Right? Sound fundamentals and ability to relate and apply to the problem solving. Right? You'll always get a guidance and coaching, right, students. However, right, your ability on your own. Right? Not everything is like you teach me how to do it and I'll repeat it. We don't need to be an engineer to do that. Right? Thinking from fundamentals, applying to it, maybe it's wrong. Doesn't matter. You're learning phase initially, no issues about it. But that's at least relevance is required for the industry. Engineering common sense, a big word. Okay, so common sense makes a lot of products better, right? Just explore your thinking, thought process, how it can be assembled wrong way. Can I do it yoke, right? These are all fancy names and outcome. This is all common sense. There is nothing exotic Japanese fundamentals to it, right? It's just a simple thinking. Be simple, think straight, and try to apply the things. Don't stop yourself. That's important, right? Analytical skills and data-based decision-making abilities, right? I have seen engineers, when I ask them, saying that, hey, what's the stress in this member? What it takes? A calculator on a phone, right? A division and multiplication function, or maybe an Excel, if you're comfortable with, to tell you that one. People are scared to go into the Excel. And that just trips me, actually. If somebody comes up with a calculation and says that, oh, this is how it is, this can be optimized, can we do this? Right? No. They will model something. So I said, like, are you an engineer or a modeler? Can model. And we need designers. So have that aptitude, go to the fundamentals, and in fact, teach them even small or mini problems. Or if a student comes to you beyond even curriculum and say that, hey, I need something challenging, appreciate that. Give them something really challenging. Doesn't matter if they fail. There is an enormous learning that will come out of it. Right? And again, learning aptitude, always ask why and how. These are the big words again, right? That will make you keep learning through your life. The lessons never, your learning will never stop in a life. The moment you start feeling, I'm not learning, I would suggest you do something different or leave your job and take another challenge. I have done that. I have done that. I haven't done any role. I will not say job. I'm not hoping you to go for a salary hike and job hunting or job hopping. But if you're learning and your delivery after the learning is, I have seen that mine is 2.5 to 3 years maturity period. Right, 1 year to learn rapidly, deliver another 1.5 year. Then my learning curve has broke down. I have always changed my job. So it's not a job. Fortunately, my companies were good enough to give me another role of a higher capability. Right, never stayed in a role more than 3 years. Okay. So make sure that your learning curve always grows. Right, it doesn't stop in the college. Not at all. I'm still learning. Right? Communication. Right? We are human beings. Even animals to communicate with each other, they have limitations. Right? So we can speak beautifully. We can communicate through facial expressions, written expressions. There are so many ways out. So when you go to the industry, I tell people, however brilliant you are as an engineer, whatever you know, whatever creative you are, 40% at least, modestly I will say, will decide your success in the industry, professional success in the industry. Completely based on communication. 60% your innate ability, how innovative you are, how good your fundamental, how great engineer you are. 40% is still gonna be communication and teamwork, right? How you communicate, how you learn from others. Learn from others' mistakes too. Okay, you don't have to fail every time and learn out of it. So be smart on that part of it. Communication is very, very important. It is not just a clean and clear English. That's a language. Anybody can learn within 6 months. Okay. It is about putting yourself into somebody else's shoes. I'm one of the good negotiator, by the way, right? And I've successfully proven in my previous roles across the table. So putting yourself into somebody else's shoes, what his needs are, right? What he wants, understand, be patient, be a good listener, and respond. Okay. So that communication, mature communication, and again, nobody can teach you in a 1 day's lecture or something like that. It's your life learning, and it's a progressive thing, but that's important. Teamwork and interpersonal skills, definitely will not be solo. However great you are, you have to have a team. Even if you are extremely good leader or extremely good techie, either of them, you cannot work without him, right? So you'll have to figure it out, get the best out of everybody that is in your team, including your colleague, not just direct reporting. And some last thing that is always has to be there is a fire in the beginning. Okay, if you don't want to do something, if you're doing 9 to 5 job, you always keep doing 9 to 5 job. Dream big, okay, and do something and be ready to starve to do that. So every few other things take a lot extra efforts. Uh, Now putting myself into engineers or students' shoes. Okay, you will need a relevance of fundamentals with practical knowledge. Okay, learn let's say like you learn machine design, screw jack principle. Figure about what applications in the real life you see. What are limitations? Can you design something different using that? Right? Till I graduated, I didn't know about how to do voltage void calculations. Right? Because it was not told to us. We just think the bolt is tightened, it takes the bolt preload, and any external load applied to the bolt is taken by the bolt. It is not. Right? So there are nuances. Read little peripherally more. Look at some of the standards like a VDA standards or ISO standards, right? The relevance. So very beautiful reading, right? You need to have your own focus on it. Coaching to attempt and explore complex problem solving. I think I'll focus it more towards professors, right? Challenge students. Give them something innovative, something different. Even set for failure doesn't matter, right? Learning is important. At the student age, at your age, it's not something that the sky is gonna fall down because you failed the project. No. But when you are a professional, right, and somebody's putting 100 crores on your head to develop a new technology, that failure hurts. So learn to learn from the mistakes to fail and learn out of it. Don't repeat the mistakes. Okay. Real life industrial manufacturing process exposure. Again, as I said, I'm a little biased towards the engineering. Industry processes and compliance knowledge. So, you could do things right. There are many tools available, and learning the CAD tools and all, they're like your language to express your thought process. Design, the CAD tool does not make you designer, right? You need to be a designer. You need to calculate things. You need to imagine things. You need to make it better, right? I have a set of around 15 books, which I have not read either completely, right? It's a Russian set. I got it from, I mean, a student in my college, engineering college, and he gave me 15 books. It's a Russian, it's all mechanisms, mechanical mechanism. Tremendous depth of an experience, well documented into this one, right? You could find a treasure trove like that someday. What I'm trying to say here is that whatever you do, there is something called as a processes to make sure that it's a first time right in industry. You make less mistakes because a company depends on a young engineer to make a mistake and takes a risk to introduce in the product. Losses if that fails are enormous, simply enormous to bear. Okay, so companies do make processes, toll gates, reviews, right? Certain level of internal calculators and so on. Try to understand those. Don't go into the technical details of it. Try to understand those, like how, what are the processes. Maybe even talk about quality process, quality systems, Kaizen, right? Explore those, explore and learn. If you come prepared with that, you will be well set, towards the industry to get it. Otherwise, it will become something just follow stuff kind of thing, right? Technical communication skills, fundamental and applied innovation, know about the strategic thinking. This is important. We are all tactical. We want to go and jump and do the work once the project comes in. Very few people in engineering have found that sit back and say that what I am designing for, what my customer needs are, right? How this product will fail. This is something called as a design failure mode and effect analysis. Very fundamental. There's nothing rocket science here, right? But people start designing, and then when you ask them, saying that, what are you designing for? They don't have an answer. So when you don't know where you're heading, why are you walking that path or some other path, right? So be a little systematic and have a pragmatic approach. I would also say the last portion over here is super important. It took me 10 to 12 years to become little savvy and knowledgeable about it when I did my MBA. You don't have to be. Money is important, even your personal wealth and personal investments, right? And we don't teach anything about the money to anybody, except probably the BCom students or chartered accountants. Why? There has to be some level of and businesses do work to make money. With barely any business, you can say that this is purely for charity, right? So there's always a sales and profit involved. So when that is involved, why don't we learn, right? So this kind of inclusion, I would honestly say, managerial accounting or financial accounting should be mandatory subject for everything, not for anything, right? It will not only make you savvy about why a leadership and manager makes such a decision, because he's a little bit savvier than you from the commercial perspective, but you are not. So you'll never be aligned with him. What are the thought processes? So become strategic, right? Think little beyond. Right? Now just say like, why did you learn today? This is important. Always count, not just as a student, every day in life, right? And learning never ends, and your adaptability to make changes as the environment demands, right? Or your work conditions demand is important. So be flexible, right? So coming to how we can help to the second topic, industry and institution collaboration, right? I do believe it is an extremely dire need of today. I have seen those models working very well in the United States. Even you know certain government agencies do fund more bigger projects to the industry also. But that's a government body and an industry for technology development. But we have seen University of Wisconsin Purdue, right, helping out in lots of analytical as well as other solutions for Cummins, to my ex-employer. Right, I have pride in the Cummins in India with IIT Guwahati and other few institutions, but somehow it doesn't, you know, sustain the scheme. Doesn't happen. We have done a few projects with IIT Mumbai, Bombay also, from Cummins side of it. But this is still, I would say, like a big ticket, high profile, something like that. But take an example. We are trying to figure out about nucleate boiling heat transfer for engines. That's the most effective cooling you can achieve. But it's a very narrow band where you have to maintain your temperature and flow velocities to avoid the cavitation. Right? So this kind of a classic projects, demolition projects can be done. There is a best way otherwise is to have an internship, mandatory internship for the students, right? Collaborate with the industries. I do believe industries are open for it to give someone internship for 6 months. I'll tell you one example, right? So this is 2025. I just came back from US and I was tasked to open the Cummins first global technical center in India, which is Cummins filtration business. I did actually hire two interns, MTech, okay, full second year with me. One was mechanical, other one was computer science. And my field was completely mechanical, right? So mechanical engineer definitely we hired was a good guy, right? Did a good project. They will be wondering about what did I do with the computer science, right? This guy developed for me an Oracle application express software, database, a smart calculator. He got nationwide IEEE award, right? So there are needs. You just need to rightly apply this stuff. And he was trying initially, मुझे समझता नहीं आपसे बोल रहे mechanical का, and how do I apply kind of thing. But he went into that. So sustenance and effort is important. You will get there, right? So this kind of collaborations are extremely important. Uh, so I would simply say, if you go with this one, these are the options. You could have a 3 months or 2 months summer internship. It gives you good hands-on exposure. You will not be doing any great project in that short duration. It's too small. Okay. But how the industry works, how the environment is, how communication happens, this type of kind of allied learning will be very valuable. You may not do a great project. You might just help somebody doing some Excel database or whatever it is, right? Uh, you know, Semester-based internship, if your education system allows you, it's an extremely good valuation. Extremely good valuation. That is 6 months you spend somewhere or 1 year that it's a master's program. It's an enormous valuation. It just can offer you a job. If somebody likes you in there and you're doing a good job, obviously the manager will say that hey, he's a proven guy, why should I take the risk with somebody who's done something? Right? So this is important. Sponsored project. Can institution and industry understand what are the problems to be solved? It could be institutional basis funding, it's like a Bahaka. Okay, the company has nothing to do with it. But they will come and sponsor you because they get an advertising banner somewhere. Cummins kind of a company also looks at those avenues to recruit brilliant students because you're seeing them, guiding them for a while, right? So this is what we want in the industry, right? If I know what I'm hiring, I'll be glad, right? Instead of taking a risk with the 20 minutes interview, right? To judge a people, it's not possible actually. So these are the advantages that can come in, but this is something that needs a lot of interaction. I don't know whether the government will come up and say that the industry must sponsor like a CSR, right? Corporate social responsibility. Thou shalt do, certain percentage of worth of your profit should go to the institution. If government does that, that would be great. So I don't know if that's going to happen. But it doesn't stop you from, talking to companies. And I'll be open, a sponsor project as well as an internship, even if we are very small at this stage. So collaborative project is a bigger game. It's a long term, and it's between the college and company, or institution and company. The students may change. However, there is a senior professor or somebody or HOD, depending on your structure, always assigned to it as a front face. And then multiple projects, multiple streams also of your engineering will work there. And it's a bigger level of industry problem solving. You can get a good funding, you can have a joint IP, intellectual protection rights, and things can work better. But this is going to need a little bit of a negotiation between industry as well as institution. And but that's the aim. That's where it should be. We would like to see our educational system, the institutions and industry should collaborate with that development. It doesn't have to be an IIT. It can be any college. Let me tell you, students, I'll talk a little bit more about in my last slide. There is nobody's extra brilliant, nobody's inferior. It's all about how you treat yourself, right? Manage your own inner demons and get there. There is hard work can get you anything. Hard and smart work can get you anything. You don't. There is nothing like an IQ stuff here. Okay. So one of the things I said that highlighted is that do what you love. That's what I did for 25 years. I loved diesel engines, unknown mobility. Didn't live that at all, almost. But yes, I have seen the flavors of it in the different roads. Around 12 roads altogether in 25 years. Right? And I also learned that there have been few assignments I got where it wasn't my comfort zone, it wasn't my expertise, neither it was my interest till the time I took it. But once you get into anything, right, you love it, master it. There's nothing wrong, nothing substandard. Everything has an importance. This is the second love this comes, which took 20 years for me to learn, by the way. Love what you do. Okay. Right? So again, your advices, as I said, like my life learning, it's a life lesson, a life learning. Do not study for the marks, but learn fundamentals. Okay, that's important. This will help you for life. A formula which you derive instead of mugging will help you for life. By the way, that was my weakness. I cannot remember things. So mugging both the classical. I could never do that for some important reason. You ask me to write, I'll write in my own words only. Right? I cannot repeat a paragraph. Even if you give me 5 statements and say repeat it, even I cannot do it. So that there was a pitfall of that too. I had to derive every formula during writing a paper. So I never completed more than 80% papers. Derived formulas and then solved it. But probably that made me better because it came from the base, right? This is a business school. Develop analytical and logical skills, extremely important. Try to model anything possible. Try it out on Excel, on VB, or whatever it is, right? MATLAB is a best tool for plan mapping. And teachers also you ask them to, don't explain, try to see whether you can model. There are lots of phenomena in the real life which can be linear, non-linear. You can get them under the formula or regression equations and makes life much easier. You can impart those learnings for automation. This is the way I talk about the industrial automation or R&D automation. Lots of things that can be put into the mathematical equation, and this is how the researchers do it, right? And you can put them real life too in the small projects. Challenge things, those have probability of further improvement. कुछ चीज अच्छी हो सकती है, जरूर करो, don't stop. Take ownership of whatever you are doing, and it will be always rewarding in your professional career. So if you have been assigned a task, understand what is expected out of you and make sure you do it. Right? Never leave anything out or incomplete. Communication skills and interpersonal skills will augment your work and talent in a real life job, ensuring rapid progression. I spoke about it already. It's very important to have a rational communication. It doesn't have to be loud, it doesn't have to be hurtful, it has to be meaningful and concise. Plan and work, as I said, like when you get a project, jump and do the project, you think about it, first plan and do it. Right? You will feel like that दो दिन मैंने कुछ भी नहीं किया, उसमें चार चीजें हो जाती हैं, नहीं होता है. You will avoid a lot of repentance down the line if you plan and do it in the right sense. Okay. Seek coaching and mentoring from experts. It is up to you to make the best of it. Because I have been offered mentors in my career along. Few of them I didn't see at all after first meeting. Few of them I did leverage to the best. It all depends on your life and frequency and what exactly you're looking for the relationship. But if you can learn from somebody who's expert and willing to impart the knowledge, please do that. If you are an expert down the line and a teachers, right? If you know that you impart the knowledge already, that's your profession, right? Make sure you give away everything to the people. That's the best thing you can do. All right. So I think I did exceed my time. I'm not sure, but any questions? I hope it was okay. I did more of a storytelling than a professional presentation. But this is how I like to connect. Yeah.
Small question. Since you have been design engineer for so many years, you have handled Indica, वगैरह all design. What would be the future? Because currently we see a lot of EVs coming up, and other
Right.
some fuel will come.
Yes.
So what would happen to this diesel and petrol, and what may come after 20 years or 30 years?
Yeah.
Because I have seen that the BYD, some car I drove in Pune. It was a very different experience. What would be your suggestion? Regarding this?
Sure. So this is kind of an intertangled answer, but I'll tell you what I best know today, and I'm not fortune teller, but I'll talk on the basis of the principles and probabilities. Electric mobility is good, right? But there is a catch attached to it. Number one, it's a battery electric, full battery electric, the plug-in vehicles, what we talk about. They're going to need lots of. So if you just imagine, every society has a 50% task converted to electricity. May happen in 10 years. To there. Just look at the grid load, availability, and the power that and distribution generated. If that power coming is clean, is it coming from renewable sources like nuclear, wind, and solar? If that's the source, which is not today, 48%, 48.5% of India's power is generated by burning coal, fossil fuel, right? It makes a pollution, greenhouse gas emissions, CO2, particulate matter, SOx and NOx, although there are limitations and scrubbing devices mandated for it. So you basically are still making a pollution. What the urban electrical conversion will drive today is a displacement of the pollution. Your cities will become cleaner, if not fully clean, but you are making pollution somewhere else, right? So total greenhouse gas emissions, CO2 emission, is a net world stuff. So that's what I improvise. So unless we have a cleaner, sustainable electrical energy solution and a grid infrastructure to support and a charging points to support, right, this mobility will not grow much. Government is extremely pushy about it because I do believe personally, don't quote me, but I think we follow US and Europe more blindly than a rational way. While being said that, I respect Niti Aayog, which is a strategic think tank of India. They are also looking very aggressively towards the cleaner, non-CO2 emission fuel. That's a hydrogen, right? So let me come to. So this is electrical stuff. I do see that two-wheelers, urban transport vehicles, three-wheelers, LCVs, which is like a short range of 100 kilometers eventually will, if it is economic, because per unit electricity cost in India is horrendous compared to anywhere in the world. It is high. It's a fact. I do not think your EVs will be charged at the subsidized rate. because there is no way to do that, right? So cost of operation still is eventually better with EVs, and then fortunately we found a lithium reserve now in India. So our foreign dependency on the batteries would also come down. So we can make much in India now, right? So this segment definitely will increase. Your buses, two-wheelers, three-wheelers, urban delivery vehicles will convert maybe slowly 70-80% towards that. Rest of it, hydrogen is still little bit away to become a mainline fuel. So treat hydrogen as a CNG, compressed natural gas or liquefied natural gas, which has a higher energy density. CNG also we call as CNG LNG also we call as a transitional fuel. When you're moving from petrol, diesel to maybe fuel cell, hydrogen. So hydrogen can be utilized to burn inside the combustion engine. IC engines is like a gas. So this is one of the way might keep internal combustion engines alive for longer. Okay, maybe another 30 years, 40 years. The other way of hydrogen is that fuel cell. So you convert basically electricity using PM fuel cells, and then utilize to store in the battery as well as the propulsion with it. Right? The fuel cells are still expensive. If that becomes a very cheap technology, that's pretty good, no doubt. But today not. Today hydrogen engines would be cheaper. Now hydrogen storage in a storage tank, and people use now 700 bar systems. Okay, hydrogen storage is a challenge. Hydrogen generation requires an electricity if you're doing hydrolysis. And there are chemical processes also. So the equilibrium of per kg of hydrogen energy required to create that, where that energy comes from electrical again. Right? It's from the dirty source or a clean source. It's all intertangled. Right? But we expect that, personally, I expect that hydrogen fueled internal combustion engines would be the next. Fuel cell technology becomes cheaper, fuel cell and they will compete pretty well, and then there will be niche applications for everything. Suit somewhere else, kind of a thing. So it will be kind of a coexistence of plug-in vehicles, plug-in hybrids also. Now, Japanese companies have started launching the hybrid vehicles, strong hybrids. They do a delta betterment, like they give you lesser CO2 or greenhouse gas emission because the averages are better. Okay? But they are not necessarily a complete solution. That's again a transitional solution. I hope that answers.
So we have a question online, but I suppose you've answered it, but still I'll repeat it for you. Um, Tell us the implementation of active role of industry in NEP 2020. Tell few points how the industry's role is there.
Right.
Answer.
Yes. It is a dire need that industry and institutional collaborations can happen. Right? And one of the best way to make that happen, I just said like it's an exploratory stuff that like a CSR can fund be given for the institutions. I don't know that's on the cards, no. Right? However, any of your course curriculum embedding an industrial training as a must, as a best way to do that. It's the best way to do that. Believe me or not, industries will support. Industries will support, not an issue. Because it becomes a norm, it becomes a structured program, it becomes easier to accommodate. Otherwise, having 3 months summer internship, 2 months summer internship is like, oh, करना है चलो आ जाओ कुछ तो करो चले जाओ. I don't think there is a payback for it for them. Apart from just getting familiarization to the industry. है ना? कि फर्नीचर कैसे होता है, लोग कैसे काम करते हैं, कैंटीन में खाना क्या मिलता है. Right. So definitely it will happen. I think government will make mandates certain, and then I think there should come something from the university. Good morning.
Very excellent session is going on with maximum what the industry wants. But as the private institute facing some problems in the linkage, maintain sponsor projects and collaborate. Because now industry, whether it is a large industry or medium, they will on IIT or MIT. They are not interested in the private or our.
Right. I would say like that culture has not developed yet, even at that level. Let me tell you that working with the MNC also. Right? We tried, we attempted. I'm not audited IITs, right? Whether I was capable or not is a different part. But I audited IITs, okay? To see what they're doing as a research. Can we do something together, right? I have even given away the engines in the sense to IIT Kanpur. when it comes to industries to say that, well, I have an electronic engine, you cannot crack code, it's controller, electronic controller. So when they ask you for a help, saying that can you send an engineer, my company will say, right? You give an agent set to whatever you want to do, you can't do anything with it. It's a ECM, right? You can't crack it. So there is no IP software available for that. So yes, there is a little bit of a not so serious approach by industry, where and again it requires a leadership in that industry to be looking at. This is a holistic approach again. I'm coming back to, right? If industry selflessly looks at it that hey, what's my payback period, or what am I investing, what I'll get back out of it, there would be, but they're not getting there up to that level. So they're very casual about it, saying that this is just another challenge. Right? But if that attitude changes, it becomes more formal. Things will spun out like anything. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being patient listener. I hope I didn't put many of you to sleep.
So, only one question. Sir, is there any common platform developed by good companies for the sponsored project or for the internship, so that we can, any college can use it instead of approaching individually with the company? Is there any common platform?
Or is there any way to approach it?
Yeah, I think that's a very good suggestion you said. I'm not aware of anything that exists today.
Okay.
Why not? I mean, see, this is how it is, right? You have to fight for it.
Yes.
Okay. Right, I would say like a principal goes and talks with chancellor of university, saying that why can't we as a together create one? It would be an absolutely good initiative to begin with. It's good suggestion.
Yes.
And believe me or not, the initial indications, see, people do corporate responsibility things, do tree plantation, you water the plants, you do these things to adopt the villages. This is pretty much fundamental. We are making the next generation capable, right? This is the future of India.
There may be
You have to
screening,
invest.
yes, screening test like that, but there must be a common platform.
Could be a good one. So I will suggest Nilesh to look at it and then get to the chancellor and figure it out. Something like that can be done. See, if it happens at the university level, you can attract more industries and all. They will be answerable. Let me tell you, right? Out of shame or out of responsibility or whatever it is.
Thank you.
One question is related to renewable energy. As you mentioned that solar and wind are much cheaper and emit less carbon and harmful gas. My question is that 2 years back, a message or vision to the world was given from our country saying that one sun, one grid. So how you see to it that in upcoming weeks, how India will play an important role in the renewable energy and what are the necessities that an Indian engineer should have to fulfill the requirements.
Sure. I personally believe as a citizen of India, government has done a great job, right? Towards the renewable energy. If you look at the installations and the megawatts have gone in, there is always a fast or slow, whatever it is. But if you look at it today, I mean, we are blessed as a country. We have, which we don't like, but we have ample sunlight all the time, right? Heat and sunlight. It is not good, but sunlight ample. In fact, my society has around 28 kilowatt solar power. So our common electricity bill is 1,000 per month, right? It's been balanced like that, not to feed too much of electricity to the grid. We should do that. I think distributed solar panels, which is government doesn't have to invest. We do because there is a good payback because our electricity charges are very high. Our grid is inefficient. We are producing electricity where it is utilized. There is no transmission losses. Those kind of policy has to be very aggressive. They actually get into muck, really not really implemented. So distributed power generation is a key. Government is doing those farms, floating farms and all the stuff, which should definitely be required for the grid. But doing it at the end of use where you can, if you have a home and you can put a solar panel on the top, even 1 kilowatt peak or 2 kilowatt peak, thousands of people individually do it, government doesn't pay for it. And you pay because you have payback period. You have benefits out of it. You are saving money. You are investing. That's the best model that can happen. I think it started to an extent because there was a subsidy part of it. Subsidy is always a politically controversial, right? But we have enormous potential to do that. Solar would be the key. The wafers are getting better, silicon wafers. There are, certain alternate technologies like perovskite. Okay, they are getting about 25% efficiency. Life is aspect of it. By the way, I was suggesting my son to do 3 months working on a perovskite in Purdy this summer. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable guidance and wonderful session. Now, all are requested to gather at TAE entrance for a group photo. We'll have 15 minutes of break now.
All the students are supposed to come outside.
लाईव्ह चालू आहे. लाईव्ह चालू आहे. लाईव्ह चालू आहे. पुढे जाऊ. चल की. फोटो काढ. कुठल्याला कॅमेरा आधी. कुठल्याला कॅमेरा.
अरे रेकॉर्डिंग झालं ना.
हॅलो. होय लाईव्ह चाललंय.
Yes, just around 50. Nothing else. Support and